Hello, welcome to another uncomplication. I'm Ryan. This is a real quick one today. Since I posted that last video, just have had some more thoughts and conversations with people that I wanted to share. The first is crypto related, and here's my thought. It's interesting to me that when I post a video, I try to not watch other people's videos because I like to go in and sort of see what the charts say to me based on my own biases, my own expectations, my own inner demons, I guess, and just sort of speak from that place. And then I go see what other people are saying, and I try to listen to them with the filter of my knowledge about that person and what I think their expectations are and why. And so I want to share a little bit, just a few thoughts for you about that. So the first is when you hear me talk, I've really come to understand where my voice in this market comes from. And I've talked about it here on the channel before, but when you listen to me, the thing to keep in mind is that I'm angry. I'm angry because I was very excited about crypto. I listened to a lot of experts in the space, I invested a lot of my family's money based on those opinions, which at the time I felt I had researched. I felt fully steeped in the narrative that these digital assets were kind of a free place where humans were coming to solve the biggest challenges outside of regulated central banks and government and all that stuff. And so I really believed it. I really drank the Kool-Aid. And for a time, I was like a religious evangelical spokesperson. I was, speaking the language. I was getting more people to invest. And that was, part of my character at that point in time. And I take full responsibility for me being a novice, for me making all the mistakes that everyone makes when they get in. I think that's why I was really interested to talk about them. But the big moment for me, as many of you, most of you know, was when this whole Wyckoff paradigm was revealed to me, and I understood that it's like having a falling out with your religion. It's like believing something so deeply or wanting to believe something so deeply. We had just come from COVID. For me personally, I saw my beautiful business that was trying to reimagine finance for normal people, empower communities to fundraise for themselves, like real visionary stuff that just got chewed up and spit out by the beast of capitalism. I got fired from my company. I lost that big vision that I had fought for 10 years. And then crypto was this place that I could really come and put that same energy and excitement. And then to learn and witness and experience the emotions of a market that is manipulated to take my money. I was pissed. And that's why I spent a lot of time sharing what I had learned. Maybe in the early days, because when you get swept up into YouTube, you just become a de facto expert. People come, they sign up, subscribe to your channel. They're looking to you for advice. In crypto, even before YouTube, I was becoming kind of, an important voice in the communities that I was in. People were listening to me. My TA was really on point a lot of the time. So you get this like kind of feeling, all right, I know this stuff. I'm an expert. And then I just recognized that in that next phase, I was going through so much shit in my life. Crypto had let me down. I'd let myself down. And so when you hear me talk, and I'm talking about this point in time, my basic thesis that I'm working from is that this is all a different story than what I wanted it to be. I don't think Bitcoin is going to flip the fiat currencies of the world. I don't think that a project like ADA or insert any one of these big pioneering visions. I don't think that we are in the free market that we think we are. I think that we are looking at a market that is manipulated, that is driven by fear and greed, driven by celebrities in the space. And so my technical analysis is thinking in that paradigm. I'm not actively trading. I'm not even really investing much except testing a few of these DCA methods and just back testing. And I remain interested, but I'm not like an active daily trader. And it's important to know that. And so when I'm making predictions and things, I have a fairly pessimistic, angry view. And I think a lot of other people, I know a handful of them that also kind of got kicked out of the first big, bull run narrative, and we're left with some bumps, bruises, understanding, and anger. And so hold on a sec, I gotta sneeze. Maybe I have to sneeze. So when I'm looking at this chart, I'm thinking in terms of Wyckoff. I'm thinking in terms of, large whales accumulating, and for there to really be, energy in that spring to get us into another big bull run where I would be interested to kind of go in and make some money. That's why I'm looking at these longer timelines. I'm bringing this up because when I watch the blockchain backer, who's still one of my absolute favorite guys in this space, like he really digs into the different patterns historically, big context, macroeconomic views. I really love listening to him. I feel like I've learned a ton. And when I see his videos come up, I'll usually watch his before other people's. And in my mind, though, when I'm listening to him, I'm asking myself, what is his bias? And because I watched his channel a bunch back in this zone, and BCB, I'm not like calling you out. That's not what I'm trying to do here at all. I'm just, I want to share this notion that when you're in this industry, everybody has some stake in the game. And so the influencers that are talking on their YouTube channels, if I showed you my email inbox, I get hit up probably 3 times a day from different little projects, different exchanges, different companies, different, coins that all want me to, shill their stuff on this YouTube channel. And I've said no to all of them. A lot of people say yes. So there's a lot of people that when you listen to them, you might not know it. You might think they're just really passionate. This is not BCB, by the way, blockchain backer. But, other people, you might listen to them and not know that they're getting paid to tell you that this project is great. And in this kind of a period where it's just so much money FOMOing into the market, that shit was driving a ton of it. Blockchain backer, as great as his analysis is, it's my belief that he's sitting there with a huge bag of XRP and probably some other projects that he rotated into expecting that big second leg up, and it never came. And so when I listen to his analysis, I'm just coming from this place of, okay, he's just waiting for that thing that he's now waited for like 6 years, I think, since that last market, now 2 years passed, to execute a strategy that he had. And so I'm tempering my understanding of what he's saying based on what I know about him, or what I think I know about his situation. But my point is that no analysis is dispassionate. It's all trying to point in some direction. For me, I'm just trying to warn people of the dangers of this shit, give us some realistic expectations of timelines and how these things work based on what I think I know. And that's where I'm coming from. And so, I just want to say that up front because I just watched a video by BCB and it was great. He's really saying there's 2 ways that this pattern could really play out. It could very likely be that we pop right back up into the $40,000 range before rolling back over. That's something that we've done in these types of structures a bunch. And this, points to a much longer bear market. There could also be a Wyckoff style accumulation happening, going to set us on a longer timeline, but ultimately give us more spring loaded for another big move later on. So, listening to these analyses, part of it is just entertainment. Like I'm just here because it's entertaining. I look at these charts like on a daily basis-ish, just because I'm interested, like it's a fun thing to watch. It's a fun thing to like predict and then test those predictions, even not trading very actively. But I just want to put that out there. If you're listening to people in this space, I encourage you to what is the person you're listening to's vested interest? What do they want to have happen? And how much of what they're saying is just building evidence in support of what they already want to have happen? Okay, that being said, why am I here? It feels good to be on YouTube. It feels good to have people making comments that you've helped them. It's great to be told that you're a good human when maybe you doubt that yourself on a daily basis. It's a weird thing being in a spotlight. And that's why I guess I keep coming back. Okay, that was a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. But next thing is people were asking about the Kingfisher and these liquidation maps. People were saying, oh, like I couldn't use this. You have to pay for it. The way that I do this is if I just come here and spin. Well, let me just screenshot this real quick in case I lose it when I spin, so we can talk about it in a second. But yeah, if you come up here, the kingfisher.io, and then you click on spin, every hour you have a chance to earn credits, and this is all I've ever done. So, I mean, a lot of times it'll just be a try again, and that kind of sucks. So there you go. But I do this every so often, so I've got a stack of, 9 credits left here. So maybe this keeps refreshing and eating my stack, but we'll get out of here. Yeah, so now, short term, I'm looking at the liquidation map. We did have that big liquidation of a lot of the longs that were lined up. And now there's actually a lot more, cause, I think, just from that day-to-day market maker cause to get back up into the 24s and kind of wipe out some of these guys. Now that we're down here, there's a little bit of liquidity down here, and there's still some hanging way down in 16,000. As the BCB put it, that would invalidate a lot of structures that would really weaken the market. So it might not be worth it to go after this quite yet. But it looks to me like the next moves are going to be up to 24,000, maybe a little bit higher. Wipe these guys out. Well, this gets kind of set up again. And so when you look at the chart and you just think about this fluctuating back and forth, it's setting up those longs and then taking out the longs, and setting up the shorts and taking out the shorts. And so, yeah, right now I'm kind of looking at these big spikes, and I would make a wager that we're headed to 23,870 in the shorter term. 23,870 is an area where there's a bunch of liquidations. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we're following this, all the way back up to 40,000, although we could. I just think that's sort of day-to-day how I'm looking at this. Anyway, other thing I wanted to say, that DCA strategy that I was talking about a little bit, that came out of an uncomplication session that I had with someone, and it was just an interesting idea. Like, can you remove any passion, any emotion from your trading by following a simple metric and just DCAing in and out based on, for example, the crypto fear and greed index. The idea was you're buying 2 units when it's an extreme fear. So if your unit was 10, you'd be buying $20 a day when it's an extreme fear, $10 a day when it's in fear, nothing when it's neutral, and then you're selling 10 when it's in greed, you're selling 20 when it's in extreme greed. And what was cool is that that spawned a lot of conversation, and one of the Crypto Garden members actually went and back tested over a 2-year period to see how that would calculate out. And let me see if I can find the exact numbers. There's some arbitrariness of when he started and ended, but just as an example, he said that with this strategy starting on 1/6/2020, so January 6th of 2020, and ending on the last week of 2021, he had, let's see, he spent $6,100 and ended up with a total asset value of about $10,391. So that's about $4,292 of profit. So that's about 30%. About 30% increase, or I guess, you increased your investment by 30% by doing this dollar cost averaging method over the course of 2 years. I guess it's just 1 year. No, it's 2 years. Okay. Yeah, so 30%. So, yeah, and that's kind of what when I was noodling through. I didn't have all the calculations in front of me, but just looking at the approximate time that things hung out in these zones and where you could sell them for, it's actually quite balanced. And I wonder with the big holders, like if they're not also making smaller percentages than we might think with their algorithms, but it just, accumulates over days and days, minutes and minutes, years and years. But then what was interesting is that other people were starting to talk about other metrics that could be looked at, like the DCA index from the Daily Crypto Analysis channel, or we actually started an entire little collaboration. I basically posed the question for the group, propose a crypto trading strategy that relies on periodic condition-based logic using freely available data. that provides a back-testable method for buying and selling crypto that could be automated. So in my mind, the goal here is to have something that you can automate, and so you don't even have to sit there every day and like do the thing. But I'll keep you guys posted on that because I think it's an interesting opportunity in a market that does have a lot of, logical conditions based on sentiment, kind of playing the inverse of that sentiment, where you could have a nice long-term investment strategy that doesn't require riding the roller coaster, as it were. So that was that. What's the other thing? Maybe I should just call it there. I guess the other thing is just the plug I always give. I'm still doing these uncomplication sessions. They're really fun. I feel like it's a chance for you to bring, the big idea that you're working on or that big obstacle that's in front of you. And we just spend some time mind noting it out and talking about how to make it simpler. I think there are a lot of people that are struggling with things like motivation, like why do anything at all? Especially in the light of COVID and everything that's happened, there's a lot of questions there. I know that I'm having a really hard time getting back to the level of working that I was doing previously, because you look out the window and see this world that seems to be on fire a lot of the times, and it's harder to like see a future that you're really working hard towards. But there are ways to change your habits. There's ways to start making moves in the direction of where you want to be that over time puts you in that place where you just feel better. I went from, in the old days, like, what are your goals as a company? What's the revenue goal? What's the path of the product? Things like that. And now more and more, my questions are, how do you want to feel? You're doing all of this stuff. How do you want to feel? And how can you align your activities so that you end up feeling better on a daily basis? You're doing the things you want to be doing. You're not trading your time for money. You're not, chasing a material dream that makes you miss the here and now, because as we know, that can change pretty quickly. That's still an opportunity. If you want to check the link in the description, those uncomplication sessions, you can just book time with me. Anything else? I think I'm going to make a video here pretty soon about some politics, believe it or not, and not like taking any political sides, but just talking about how that whole game is rigged as well. There's a concept called the Hegelian dialectic, and there is a way that, well, I'll save it for the next video, but I think that in the same way that crypto is sort of manipulated to make us do the wrong things at the wrong time, politics as well is a highly engineered mechanism for dividing us and for keeping the conversation bouncing between these two sides that are really riled up. I mean, we all kind of know this, but this is kind of giving it some logical underpinning of how this works. So I'll record a video on that here in the coming days. It's something I'm interested in. And then the other rabbit hole, if you want to go down, is I love the After School channel. That dude, you are so cool. You're one of my heroes. Your art is amazing. The speakers you find are amazing. I would love to interview you on this show. So if anyone knows him, poke him for me. But the whole series of videos that are talking about prehistory, ancient, high technology civilizations, man, my mind is blown from that stuff right now. And I'm really excited to talk more about it and just think more about it. It has changed my entire perspective of the human story to know that there were high civilizations before our history even begins. And if you haven't checked out that YouTube channel, Uncharted X is doing a lot of those videos. And then on After School, I think he's kind of bringing in some of the experts in that space. And there's a whole kind of subset of videos there that are talking about these just unsolvable problems right now with our traditional academic timeline, and how that just falls apart when you start looking at the evidence of these megalithic, high precision structures that have not been able to be recreated since, and the cataclysms that might have come along, which are also really exciting. I feel like it also is a way to potentially unite some of the religious mindsets of the world with the science of the world. So just more stuff that I'm interested to get on here and talk about. I'll leave it there. I hope this was useful. Blockchain backer, I love you. All of you guys out there, I know you work hard. I know that you have really deep down good interests at heart most of the time. And so nothing I said was supposed to like throw anyone under the bus. It's just, again, my perspective is question everything. Who's saying it? Why are they saying it? Because we all kind of got burned here by this echo chamber of nested self-interest. And if we're going to survive a future together, I think we just need to understand, what we did wrong, course correct a little bit, understand our own biases, our own, what's it called? The logical fallacy, when you are making your decisions based on your confirmation of your bias. We all do that all the time. We're all looking to see the thing that we want to see. The eye sees what the mind is prepared to find. And so, yeah, let's just keep each other safe out there. I will talk at you later. Bye.